Demon Knight starts off with a high-speed pursuit that ends in a violent crash. Apparently only one man survives, the man named Breaker. He makes his way to a hotel that was renovated from the ruins of a church. He plans to stay the night, but head out in the morning. The police investigate the crash and encounter the other person involved. He has no name other than the Collector. Breaker has something he wants, and he's been pursuing him for a long time. Eventually, the Collector catches up with Breaker, and literally all hell breaks loose. Breaker manages to use a key-shaped object to keep the Collector at bay. In response, the Collector uses his own blood to summon demons. If the demons get their hands on the key, it could mean the end of the world as we know it. Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight was made in response to the beloved HBO series based on the EC horror comics. With the show being a success on both HBO and in syndication, a movie was a no-brainer. 3 films were planned, with Demon Knight being the first because it followed the structure of the TV show so closely, with Crypt Keeper host segments opening and closing the film. Demon Knight itself was a homage to the horror genre. The standoff scenario recalls Romero's Night of the Living Dead and John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13. The demons seem like they were straight out of the Lamberto Bava films. The heavy metal rock aesthetic of the soundtrack is in the vein of 80s Dario Argento. Not to spoil anything, but this is the best of the 3 films that make up the Tales from the Crypt trilogy. I remember seeing this in theaters when it was released in 1994, much to the shock of my fellow Catholic school classmates. People were screaming, laughing. It was a fun time. When I saw a special screening of it last year, people didn't respond to the film as wildly as the 1994 audience. Just loosen up, everybody. Director Ernest Dickerson has an accomplished career as a director of television and film. He worked frequently as a cinematographer for Spike Lee. TV credits include House of Cards, The Wire, Dexter, The Walking Dead, and Burn Notice. Film highlights range from Surviving the Game, Bulletproof, and Bones. John Cassier works his magic as the Crypt Keeper. For many of my generation, he was our first horror host. He was our Svengoolie. He was our Zachary. He was our Bob Wilkins. This was before Monster Vision introduced us to Joe Bob Briggs. Cassier not only voiced the Crypt Keeper, but he was the first one to give Deadpool a voice for the video game X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse. With all due respect to Nolan North and Ryan Reynolds, Cassier is my Deadpool. Having had a chance to meet him in person, he is one of the most laid-back, cool people. Billy Zane steals the movie. As the Collector, he is an absolute joy. He's manic, he can be charming, evil, and hilarious. He keeps the viewer on their toes because at any moment he could change. I swear I could listen to this one clip of him all day.
You fucking ho dunk, po dunk, well then there, motherfuckers!
It warms my heart when an actor from my hometown makes it big. Hats off to William Sadler, who plays Breaker. Sadler would be a regular fixture for Tales from the Crypt, playing the Grim Reaper on the 1994 episode The Assassin, as well as the very first Air episode, The Man Who Was Death. He played the Mummy in Bordello of Blood, which was just essentially a repeat of his performance on The Assassin. He's clearly a favorite of Darabont, having appeared in Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and The Mist. He was the president in Iron Man 3. Keep up the good work, Mr. Sadler. The Queen City is proud of you. Jada Pinkett-Smith plays Geraldine, who turns out to be the final girl. Further evidence of horror's respect for women. She's tough, but collected when the situation gets hairy. My favorite work of hers would have to be The Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy. Lately, she's been killing it on Gotham. Rounding out the cast, you have CCH Pounder, Thomas Hayden Church, B-movie great, the late Dick Miller, and Roger Rabbit himself, Charles Fleischer. John Larroquette has a funny cameo in the opening. Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight is an enjoyable monster romp that fits the spirit of the source material. Funny, scary, and it's just a great movie with some brews and friends. Can I just say now that this is the best movie of the bunch that I'm reviewing?